Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Mike, a physical therapist. Hey, tonight we got a special guest. His name is Dan Catuccio. He will be talking about how to find your alternative career by being either a piano musician or a TikTok sensation. We'll be back in a few seconds, okay?
HelloNote is a truly therapist-friendly practice management solution with integrated EMR that will enhance workflow, efficiency, and patient care. HelloNote reduces error and allows you to spend more time with your patients. It comes integrated with billing. Claims are generated once a note is completed. You can bill with one click and a patient portal, which streamlines the patient intake process. Beautifully engineered and cloud-based for easy accessibility, the software works on all platforms. You can access patient records from anywhere. We also offer 24/7 support. HelloNote is the practice management solution that you're looking for.
What is going on, my Facebook friends? And of course, YouTube and people who are watching on the whatever live video that we're doing, of course, in a replay on the podcast. Well, anyway, thank you very much for those people who are watching. Comment live. If you're watching on a replay, comment replay. But we got a special guest for tonight. But before we bring him in, check out hellonote.com. If you need documentation system in your private practice, check out HelloNote. Use the code Mike Chua, right? Or get some brownie points, right? Check out that because that's what I personally use in their private practice. We got what do you call this? We got 2 private practices and we use it. We got several employees and staff. It's amazing. You got the scheduling system, everything. How you can start your own private practice, okay? And of course, before I keep on going, I gotta also have to mention this: medbridgeeducation.com. Use the code alternative. You get 40% discount, not just 10, not 20, not 30, but 40. I hope they get 100%, right? Well, one time they gave us like several MedBridge subscriptions. So check that out. Alternative. I get some brownie points too, right? But before I keep on going, I don't know if you know this guy, Dan Catuccio, right? He's Italian. He's a physical therapist, home health therapist, and people are sharing it in the groups like, "Hey, Dr. Mag, you gotta interview this guy." I'm like, who is this guy? And then I started looking at his videos. I'm like, gosh, this is the one that I want to be. He was like, look at it. He's like rocking it. And I reached out to him one time and he said, well, you know what? Actually, I do have an alternative career. I play the piano. And I'm like, gosh, this is actually the ultimate alternative healthcare career guy. He's seeing patients as a physical therapist, doing home health, and then he's got this side gig of playing the piano. My kids, they play the piano. My mom is a piano teacher, and then now he's like a TikTok sensation. He's like all over social media. People are sharing it, and then I just wanted to reach out to him and then ask him, is it really doable? How does he do it? And then without further ado, his name is Dan Catuccio. He's a physical therapist. Let's go and bring in Mr. Dan. Oh, I mean, Rose Catuccio. Well, Dan, could you please tell us again, man, who are you really, man? I mean, are you a physical therapist? Are you a pianist? Are you Rose? Or who are you really, man?
I'm all of it. I'm all of it. So, yeah, no, I've been a physical therapist 20 years. Thank you for having me, Mike. Definitely happy to be here. Been a PT. This is my 20th year. And about 3-4 years ago into it, 3-4 years ago. So I had been a PT for 15, 16 years, and I was starting to really look at my next 15 years. And I just was feeling, I hate to use the word burnout, but I'm going to use the word burnout because the reality was I didn't feel like I could maintain that and sustained productivity and everything that goes along with it for the next 15, 20 years. And there's a lot that goes into that. It's like I looked deep internally, like, am I being ridiculous? My parents and my in-laws worked their butts off for 30, 40 years in the same industry. And it's like, but for me, I realized eventually, listen, the bottom line is, if I can't see myself doing this for the next 15, 20 years at this pace or whatever, I've got 3 daughters, I've got my wife, and I have, a lot to support, right? My wife and I have a Costco head, okay? We like Costco. So anyway, no, but for real, so I really had to look internally and I had to try to figure it out. Hey, what am I passionate about? And I'm going to be honest with you. There are so many things that I thought about trying to make some sort of side income. I looked at coffee shops because I love coffee. I love pizza. I love food. I love to eat. I love to exercise. And I was looking and I'm thinking, but what about the piano thing? So I was playing the piano one day and my nephew was like videotaping me because he's like, because I play by ear. I don't read music. I just play, you know,
Wow.
and he's videotaping me. And I thought to myself, he thinks I'm kind of cool. That's kind of neat. He's young. I'm like, do you think I could ever actually make money doing this? And I never thought about it. I was like 38 when I was thinking about that. And I thought a lot about it. And I was like, you know how it goes with entrepreneurism is it takes a risk in order to you know, you have to put yourself out there if you're gonna do it. So I weighed the risk levels, etc. Talked to my wife. I'm like, it's not a massive risk. Should I do this? I went to a studio. I got into a tux and I started playing and they recorded me. I made a website and for about 6 months it was crickets because it was COVID 2020 and then no one's getting married and I was like, oh man, no one wants me, you know. And then finally things picked up and it was wild and crazy and it kind of just escalated. I had 5 weddings in September right now as we speak, and just a bunch booked and it's really cool. And every time I do one, it's just hugely validating. The bride and groom are thrilled. I'm excited, and you know, I get referred to other people and this and that. So it's been a lot of fun. And then along with that, and if you can interrupt me if you want, but along with that, you know, it's like I can't choose just one thing because there's a lot of things that I'm feeling called to do. And one of them is I really have always liked to lighten the mood and to make people laugh and to just kind of encourage and support. And so I started posting funny things on Facebook and Instagram and whatnot. And things kind of started to catch fire when I was doing a physical therapy start of care one weekend and I was typing and typing. If you've ever done an Oasis start of care, it's like a 4-hour ordeal. It is a long deal, right? So I'm like, I gotta make fun of this a little bit. This is crazy. So I'm typing and I make my first video. And that first video was shared more than any of my other videos. It was really wild. I'm like, oh my gosh, people really resonate with this, right? And so I just went with it and I went with it. And Rose was born like totally on a whim. And it's been a fun process to see people resonating all around the country. You know, I got rehab directors saying, we play your videos during meetings and this and that. And I'm like, you know what? And people also side messaging me saying, you're encouraging me with all of this entrepreneurialism. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so glad to be able to do that. So I'm pumped.
Wow. So I love what you shared. You know, it for those people who are watching live, comment live, watching the replay, comment replay, and thank you very much for those people who are commenting. People are like, hey everyone, I think this is one of your family member, Dan. So somebody already knows you, aka Rose, man.
Yes.
Look at that. And thank you, Ray, for watching live. Appreciate you. And a lot of people are commenting already, man. So man, I'm gonna enjoy this presence, Nick. Appreciate you. And then one random person said we love Rose. So and of course this person said I love Dan. But I hope your wife's not watching, man. So well, kidding aside. So listen to what he did, ladies and gentlemen. Coming from PT, then he did piano, and I know he's still doing piano. He had to pivot. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, I tried doing outpatient, sports. I can't do it. You know, I still do home health, Dan. Now I'm doing geriatrics specifically for our outpatient clinic, and it doesn't. You can always pivot every now and then. It doesn't have to be perfect. And this is where he comes in. He comes in to encourage us, to empower and equip. And Dan, could you please tell us? So after the piano gig, do you still do that? I mean,
So I still do the piano gigs.
is it? You mentioned about you're overbooked already, or what?
It's wild because like you have to try to like I'm learning as I go because I've only been doing this piano gig side thing for 2 years or so. So you book. I mean, people are reaching out to me for 2025, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to be doing in 2020. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God,
Right?
I'm so not used to it. I'm so not used to it. I'm humbled. I'm honored. I'm blessed. I'm grateful. But yeah, I have got a bunch of weddings in 2024. So I'm kind of rolling with it. I'm trying not to overbook myself. And I'm trying to do what I can handle. And the bottom line is, listen, so I did drop down to 32 hours as physical therapist to allow room for this. And so, you know, home health is a big blessing. It's been like, I love my patients. I love touching their lives, right? But I get to get my kids on the bus in the morning, which is a beautiful thing, right? And now that I'm 32 hours, I get to spend time with them after school and stuff. And then, you know, on the side, you know, when it comes to weddings, it's like there are a lot of them are Friday, Saturday. So I don't want to book every single weekend necessarily because I want to be there. But you know, I'm doing the best I can and rolling with it and trying to be the best PT, spouse, dad of 3, and you know that I can be, as well as encouraging people online. So.
Wow, wow. There's a question here. He said, "Is he still doing home health?" Yes, he does. He just still do 32 hours, and he said that he's doing those piano gig every weekend, or of course taking care of the family, which is good. You still need to have family time, which is so good. So, how did you mention about you know, Rose coming into place and doing your TikTok videos? Uh, what happened there? I know you wanted people making laugh. You know, we want to be clown and everything, be creative. But what prompted you and encouraged you? I mean, how did this start? Do you start it in TikTok or Facebook? How did this
Facebook
was born?
Facebook was definitely the biggest and fastest growth for sure. You know, back in the day, I would like post funny things on Facebook, but like just very, very random, and that's fine, right? But when I posted that video back in late April, I want to say, my very first home healthcare video, right? I noticed a lot of like interaction, and I was like, wow, people kind of resonate with this, and I'm not even recognizing these people who are commenting, right? And people are sharing it, and so I was like, you know, talking to my wife about it. I'm like, you know, and when you're working almost full time and doing the piano stuff, it's not like I had, you know, 3 or 4 weeks to like analyze this whole thing and say, you know what, I'm gonna have a written plan of what. So I kind of rolled with it, and I'm like, and I would, any idea that came to me of things that I would like think were hilarious to myself and like just poke fun at when it comes to healthcare, as far like trying to do it like jokingly, lightening the mood and not disrespectfully to patients or anything like that, right? And so I would just think of these funny things that we all in home health deal with. And so you know, every patient's past medical history, where they go into like, back 55 years ago, this is like the first thing that happened to me, right? And this is the voice that I would always use when I would, like, my wife and I, she's a PT too. We graduated together at University of Hartford. And like, whenever I would come home from like work, I'd be like, oh, this one was complaining about the heat and the humidity and this and that, you know, and I would always use that voice. Why? I don't know. It's just, that's me being me. And so
We got real patients who are like that, you know, smokers and everything, right?
oh yeah, everything. And so in a 2-second split, I'm like, I'm gonna name her Rose. I'm gonna make this video right now. And I'm like, what should her husband be? Salvatore, right? I don't even know if I planned it honestly, purposely at the time, but Rose and Salvatore are my grandparents who have now passed 25 years ago. But Rose and Salvatore Catuccio. No one knows that. Now you do.
Wow,
My
wow.
Nani
That's
and
so
Papa.
funny, man. It's like
Yeah.
what's a tribute, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
Matt said you're an amazing uncle. I mean, that's that there. Thank you very much, Matt.
Yeah,
And
brother.
so there's somebody asking, dance videographer is awesome. Do you do your videos yourself, your son, your kids, or your daughters, or your wife? How does that work?
It's a mix. I would say 90% of it I do on my own. And the reason is if I want to bang these out like after work, like I'll get home from patient care and I have like the room to myself for like 20 minutes of silence. And otherwise, when my kids get home, it's like, you know? So I'll set up my tripod and I'll just do all the angles and this and that. But like yesterday, the one I did of prancercising with, if you haven't seen it, you got to see it. So
I
I'll
saw
have
it, man.
yeah, Libby, my daughter Libby, videoed that, and she did awesome. She's 13 and she's rolling with it. She's getting really good at video. My wife Lorraine is really good at videoing. So yeah, it's kind of like a family effort, you know.
It's so fun. That's so fun. Of course, somebody said Randy said Dan is a great family, and you continue to
Thank
do
you,
this,
Randy.
man. One person here says real life is the best comedy. That's so true. That's so true. And then we got a lot of people. There's a question here. How long does it take to make a video?
Great question. So it varies, but I would say like the prancer size one that I just posted yesterday. I literally, what's today? Thursday. I shot that Tuesday afternoon, edited it for about an hour. The editing takes a bit, and then I posted that on Wednesday. And so I would say start to finish, I would say an hour and a half, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. So if I really want to get it finesse and add my own piano music to the background, which I do for some of it, like I did that one for the stair glide one, I just made an
I
original
noticed that.
tune, and you know, sometimes that'll add a little bit of time, but man, it's those details, and people recognize them, I think, and they shout out like, you know, that they notice these details, and I love that, you know. So in total, 1 to 2 hours, maybe total, sometimes more, sometimes less.
Wow, wow. So it really does take an hour or so to edit it. Have you attempted? I have 4 virtual assistants that does all of this stuff that I do. Are you planning on hiring one, man? I mean, you know,
Let's see where the
eventually,
world
right?
takes me,
Or
my
you have a
friend.
personal touch to it?
Let's see where the world takes me. You know, if it got to that, certainly it would be helpful. You know, it's been really fun though doing it like 100% on my own because, man, I look back at the talk about trying to find a niche. Number one, like you should like the videos I was putting out a year ago. Like sometimes it was like crickets, right? You know, and you when you put yourself out there, it's not like immediately like, oh my gosh, everyone's loving that, right? It, you kind of have to see what works, what people like, but you have to really be intentional and believe and really love your product. I'm not going to be I'm not going to put anything that I don't fully appreciate. And I watch my videos probably 20 times before I post them because I just know that my daughters are going to be watching these 10 years from now, this and that. You just want it to be, you want it to be right. And so I've been enjoying the process, but I've been really learning a lot about editing, and my videos have gotten better naturally just because I've learned new functions and stuff. So it's been enjoyable, but would it be fun to have someone help me with that? Yeah, of course.
Someday, man. Someday.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, teach them and delegate it, and then boom, you just hold to do the video. So, another, I like what Dan said here, ladies and gentlemen. He mentioned the word being intentional. You got to be intentional, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to find your alternative career, find your niche. He mentioned about that word already. You got to be intentional. You cannot be a wandering generality. You just can't be a wandering generality. What is that? You like a zombie, right? People nowadays, they go to work 9 to 5, go home, and then become a zombie, right? Go zombie, right? But what he said, that specific word, being intentional on that niche that you want to serve. It doesn't. You need to find that niche and being intentional and implementing and doing it. He said he's doing it. He's taking the videos, boom, 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 right? An hour of editing. An hour of editing is not. I don't want to do that, right? He's doing it intentionally and he's learning. The key is you're learning and taking action. That's what he's doing. Let's go ahead and bring back Dan. Dan, so after you edit it, man, you said you watch it, right?
A
So
bunch
where
of
do you
times.
initially post this? You post it in Facebook or TikTok or how? I don't know. I don't have. I mean, I think
Yeah,
I
you
do
know
have.
what I do? I mean, Facebook, I'm loving because on Facebook, I am getting so much fun interaction of people all over, and it's just tons of fun because you know they're chiming back and forth and saying, "Oh, this reminds me of this reminds me of that," and so that's fun. But I do post everything on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, just about all of them. And so when I'm making a video, right? I'm trying to edit it down to 60 seconds or less because that all platforms allow 60 seconds. Some allow more, but some don't allow more than that. So getting it down to 59 seconds, you'll notice a lot of my videos are like 57, 58, 59 seconds. You know, editing it down to that is kind of hilarious. You know, you cut out different parts and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, so I'll show it to my wife, I'll show it to my daughters, and that'll kind of be like a big stamp of approval, like, you know, does this check all the boxes? Is this good? Do you like this? And my daughters are fun because I mean, they genuinely enjoy watching it, so that's cool.
I bet, man. I bet. How old are your kids again?
13, 11, and 8, all girls.
Man, I got 3 girls too, and I mean they're like
Nice.
19, 15, and 13, I guess. And
Awesome.
man, I remember that when they were that age, they were always supporting me. They were always, I mean, not that they're not supporting me anymore. They were always right behind me. When I do all my videos, they're right behind me. They would show up behind my car and hey, watch my dad's video and stuff like that. Now that they're older, it's like, well, that we used to have a daddy daughter show too, where I would interview them about their day and we record it.
Nice.
And now it's like, Daddy, I'm just busy with band, and one is in college already, and like, all right, what the heck? I'm just gonna do my own. So enjoy that, Dan. Enjoy this time
Definitely.
that you're working
Definitely.
with them, and they're helping you out. And man, they could be like a granddaughter to Rose or something, right?
One
Well,
of
anyway,
these
let's
days.
go ahead and there's some people commenting here. Jazzercise is out, friends. I saw that video, man. It's so funny. Pete and Pat love Danny, so it's probably and Danny is very natural in camera. But this is a
Thanks,
great
bud.
question here. What program do you use to edit your videos? And somebody was mentioned. Do you use your phone just to do your recording and editing your video?
I use my phone for everything. I have not touched a computer for editing. I use CapCut. I use
Yeah,
CapCut
Catuccio.
and I use my Google Pixel Pro. And I love this thing because it shoots great video. It's super clear. Yeah, some people make fun of me because I'm a Droid user. I'm like, you know what? I love my Pixel Pro. I love it, and I'm gonna
Well,
keep
bro,
going for it.
me too. I got my.
Yeah.
I got. This is my third Pixel Pro.
Yes.
This is the Pro 7. I bought my
Nice.
daughter the 6A. It's so
Oh,
easy
sweet.
to use.
Oh,
You know, it's
love it.
just amazing. The 2XL that I have, the Pixel 2XL. I mean, I've used it for like 5 years. It never died. I just wanted the new one, but it's still
Yep.
going, man.
Yeah, man.
So you just do everything in the phone.
Yeah.
Listen to that, ladies and gentlemen. You got everything in you already. You got the phone. Anybody here probably has a phone. All right. People are watching. He didn't even touch his computer. Everything is edited in the phone, done in the phone, edited in the phone. CapCut. I've heard that from my kids. I think they're the one who does that for me. You know, use it to your advantage. There's another question here. This amazing question. What made you keep going, Dan? I mean,
Such a
this
good
happened to me
question.
too. I've been doing videos since 2018. Nobody watched, nobody watches my videos, but like what you said, people will send you messages. Oh, you encouraged me. So
Such
what
a
made
good
you keep
question.
going, man?
Thank you for that question because I love questions like that. I'm gonna tell you what, man. I felt a very significant push that I was supposed to be doing this. Not like, you know what, I'm gonna try and I'm gonna try it and I think we'll see. Because I felt a push and I felt like, you know what, I felt a nudge in that direction and that I could be used at a large level to be able to touch lives, encourage lives, support, uplift, right? And so when I heard crickets, I did I want to give up many times? Yeah. Like I said, it is not a glorious thing like it is right now all the time. That's for sure. But I felt the nudge to keep going. My wife was super encouraging. My kids were encouraging. But ultimately, if you have the why, and for me, the why was I really feel like I want to be able to make a difference and encourage. And if you have that why, you're going to keep going, and you're going to keep going with hopefully some gusto, which is exactly what happened. And finally, April, May is when it seemed like, whoa, something's happening. Thank you for the question.
Amazing, amazing. I love what he said about the why. It's very important, ladies and gentlemen, that you have the why. A lot of people will say, "How can I do this? What's the way?" But if you have the why in your head, why am I doing this? I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this to encourage people. I'm doing this to bring out the best in other people. Well, guess what? The how and the what will follow. I like that, Dan. Dan, I think we're reading the same books, right? Just kidding. So then there's another question here. Let me go back to the question. Uh there you go. This is a great question. Dan, at this point, do you feel like you might run out of home health material, and do you feel pressure doing that? You know what? I'm going to answer this for Dan, Chris. There's so much Oasis questions. I don't think he's going to run out of. And then every year it changes. Like, what do we have right now? Oasis, whatever. What do you call that? Oasis a 2.0.
Oasis, Oasis C, Oasis D. I don't know. I forget. There
Yeah,
are
all the
Oasis
letters.
C.
So it's
There's so many. I can't keep up. Really good question, Chris, and thanks for your support because you chime in a lot on Facebook, and I appreciate you. Good. I'm gonna tell you what. Like I have basically like a notepad on my phone, right, of all the ideas that come across my head, and I write them down whenever I have them. The cool thing I think about I think I've felt this way for a while is that I'm going to keep going healthcare and doing home health stuff, but I'm also for sure chiming in on other stuff too. Just because when they say you got to pick a niche, man, I'm telling you, for me, it's hard because like there's just so many things that my brain is in a lot of different places, which some content creators could be like, oh my gosh, that's so dangerous. You have to just do home health. You just have to just do healthcare. And for me, I'm like, number one, the character Rose, right? I can't wait for you to see what she's gonna do around Christmas time. Like, it's gonna be exciting. I already thought of it. I already know what I'm doing. Like, so it doesn't always have to be just like the healthcare, but she's gonna do some cool stuff for the holiday. But the cool thing about it is you kind of roll with like the seasons. Like, snowy weather in Connecticut's a big deal, right? So I'm gonna do some snow stuff in healthcare. So I'm gonna roll with it. And if I ever do fully run out of healthcare, which who knows if I will or not, I'm gonna throw in a whole heck of a lot of other stuff too. So,
Man, I mean, it's never ending, man. Rose can do home exercise program, right? Specific breathing program, whatever, upper body, lower body exercise. She can have her own exercise videos. It's
well,
never
it's
ending,
funny.
right?
Like, there's a funny joke that keeps coming along. Like, wow, Rose has been on caseload for like 6 months. Like, I'm like, no. Rose's insurance benefit is in the chart. It says ongoing forever and ever and ever and ever, as many visits as she ever need. I'm like, yeah. Rose has what she needs.
At least she's got that traditional Medicare, right? And she doesn't run out under maintenance. And somebody even commented somewhere there, it's like, I don't think Rose is homebound anymore. It's like,
all the time. Rose is prancercising. Rose met me at the beach. Rose went camp. She hopped into my camper. Rose,
yeah, I saw that.
But then she's like, no, but it was a taxing effort to do it. It was exhausting.
I know. Taxing effort to go to the beach, right? There's another question here. What is your favorite video of Rose that you really enjoyed?
Oh, great question. I think I love the one that I just did last Friday, which was me in the rain and waiting on Rose and her coming down that stair glide, singing those songs. I just
have a patient like that right now, man.
I liked that one. I think I did one of when patients offer food. I was smoking a fake cigarette. I put it down on these muffins with ash hanging off it. My cat Frankie was in the background, like sniffing the muffin, and she starts coughing, and then she like uses her paper towel to like offer the muffin to me. And I'm like, oh no. So I thought that one was funny too. But yeah, no.
There's the cat poop, man. Go ahead, sit down.
Oh yeah.
I love that too. Like, go ahead. I like standing.
Right, standing's my favorite.
All right, there's another question here by Matt. Do your side gig ever conflict with the patient? If so, how do you balance that?
So, like patient care, great question, Matt. So that was one of the big reasons why I felt like I really needed to drop down to 32 hours. So the way that I did that was I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 2:30. My last patient's around 1. So when I have weddings on a Friday, like last weekend, I had Friday wedding in New Haven, and I had to be setting up by 3. The fact that I had my last patient at 12:30, 1 o'clock meant that right from there, I had all my piano equipment in my back of my car. I zoomed down there. So that was kind of intentional because I was like, you know what? If I was doing 40-hour PT, I think it'd be really hard to do those afternoon weddings. It has been a massive blessing. It has been balancing, but it has worked out thus far. Thank God.
All right. There you go. I know you're a very busy man. What time? You're in Central, or no, you're in Eastern.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, man, for your time. I appreciate you. I know you're very busy. But, I know a lot of people are watching, and I know your time is very precious. What is the biggest challenge, Dan, that you've encountered both in being a therapist, being a pianist, and doing this TikTok? What is your biggest challenge, and how do you turn this around, man?
So I would say, I wish I had 2 more hours in each day, and obviously we all know that's not possible. I think time's my challenge right now. I would love to delegate more time to doing this video stuff. I've got ideas and ideas and ideas. I could see myself doing a podcast and doing 20 minutes of actual music. I'm picturing my my home health therapist driving around and actually wanting to tune in and be in, like, you know, me saying my encouraging bit of the day, an intentional, like, educational, supportive lesson, whatever, topic of the day, and then doing some piano stuff. Like, you know, long and the short of it is, I think that I have a lot of growth to do when it comes to figuring out exactly what is next. But while I'm doing this, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going hard. And you know, if I'd say that the time is the biggest challenge, and how do I turn that around? I mean, I would have to say my next goal is 100% reducing hours even more in PT. You know, and then delegating more time to other stuff. You know, but that time, we're not there yet. In order to take that risk, because of course it comes with a risk, you got to be ready for it. You got to be really ready for it. You know, 3 kids, college, etc. Costco habits. You know, you got to support that. You got to be bringing in the money. So
tell me about that Costco habits, man.
So
all right, well, thank you very much.
You know, all that said, you know, patient care has been a massive blessing. I've loved treating my patients. I have, you know, when I hit things like, I go for things hard. Listen, I got vestibular certified. I went down to, you know, Florida and Atlanta. Like I taught my balance and fall prevention program for 5+ years at my company. I was an adjunct professor at a university. I have a lot of passion. And the fact that I'm feeling so led to be doing other things, to me, is I need to follow those nudges. And so that's why I'm trying to balance it all. And I think God has sustained me to allow me to be able to do that, and I'm grateful for it. And I'm just going to keep rolling. And I'm really, really excited for what's next.
Amen to that. Amen to that, brother. I appreciate you. But before I let you go, I like what Dan said about the time. All right. And then pushing it. A lot of us here in our alternative career group, we like complain about, oh, we don't have enough time. Look at Dan. He cut down, right? And then he's doing the piano gig, and he's still doing this TikTok stuff. And he's rocking. He's got 3 girls, a beautiful wife, a happy family, and the Costco habits, right? It's very important. And he's pushing it. All right. Sometimes you just have to push yourself, ladies and gentlemen. We've gone to our not my our time. You know, I'm gonna say my generation. We've gone, you know, the microwave mentality, wherein everything is instant. Sometimes you just have to push yourself a little bit. All right. Just like working out. Look like I don't work out, right? I work out every now and then, but sometimes you got to push, right? Even your patient, you know, sometimes we tell our patient, okay, Rose, can you do 2 more sets? And Rose will be, I can do 1 more, right? And same thing in life. If you want to find your alternative career and be the best that you can be, you got to push yourself, go to the next level. You know, and you're doing this. I mean, I'm sure Dan could say yes to this. We're doing this not just for ourselves. We're doing this to leave a legacy for our kids, leave a legacy to your community, and be the best, not just for yourself, but for your family, your wife, your kids, and even your patients. Dan, I know you're a very busy man. Any last parting wisdom for our audience out there? If you can just give them some spiel.
Yeah. I've
either
got
from Dan or from
one last piece, and I appreciate everything that you said, and I wholeheartedly agree. I would leave you with this. You know, a young gentleman, a friend of mine, once asked me, if you had $100 million, what would you choose to do during your day? What would you want to do during your day? And when you can ask yourself that question, and I'm talking like for career and everything else, right? What would you want to do? And that has really pushed me to, you know, to really go for this, because the bottom line is, if you had all the money in the world, what legacy would you want to leave? What would you want? What would you want to be known for? What would you want your quality of life to look like? What would you want your kids' lives to look like? All that stuff, right? And for me, right now, this is feeling like a big push, and I'm hoping that I can leave some imprints and some impressions and some encouragement. And you know, if you haven't thought about that thus far, you know, because all of us want vacation, all of us want time off, all of us want downtime, right? You know, you'll give me $10 million. Will I go to the beach for a little bit? Of course I will. But ultimately, what do you want to do with your life? So with that, I mean, I just, I'll keep remembering that because that pushes me.
It's so true. It's so true. Well, stop talking to me, Dan. I want to push myself now, do some TikTok videos or what. Right. Dan, again, thank you very much. I appreciate you, man, for everything that you do and
For
for
having me.
encouraging us, people in home health, and the whole healthcare industry is getting happier just because of Dan's videos. Again, thank you very much. Before I let you go, ladies and gentlemen, always remember the word fast, FAST, letter F. Find people that will bring out the best in you because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Tonight, I hang out with Dan. I feel like I want to be like, one side here and then I'm talking to someone else like that. I hope I can do that too, right? People, ladies and gentlemen, because like what I said, you are the average. I'm sure Dan has a group of people that he follows, that he goes to, that he has mentorship. So find people who will mentor you. Okay? Next letter is letter A. Take action because imperfect action births perfect in action. That's what he's been doing. He's taking action. He already mentioned there's like crickets before, and now he still keeps on taking action. All right. The goal here is to continue doing it. All right. Repetition. Right. That's why we call it rehab. Re means repeat. Hab means ability. The more we repeat it, the more you master it. And that's what Dan is doing. He's again and again. And next letter is letter S is share and subscribe. Share Dan's video. You're not just sharing it because it's happy. You're sharing it because he gets monetized and everything, right? So I hope he does, right? And last but not the least is letter T is teach it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, you're actually understanding it more. And that's what Dan is going to do. And someday he's going to start his podcast. He's going to teach us, hopefully someday, how to do a TikTok video. Again, be awesome, be great, be excellent. And I'll see you around our Facebook and YouTube and the Alternative Healthcare Career Group B. I'll see you in the next episode, okay? You have a good night.
Hey everybody, I'm Chad Brock for Ultimate Workout and Recovery, and I have a specific group of people I want to say hello to. And that is the folks out there who are a little bit elderly, maybe sitting in a wheelchair, and you feel like you can't do anything. Maybe you have muscles that don't work like they used to. But guess what? Muscle has memory. All you need to do is start again. You can build back your muscle, you can build back your cardio, you can build back things that you thought you were without. And guess what? You don't have to have somebody there to do it with you. You can use Ultimate Workout and Recovery on a daily basis and just see how you feel. I guarantee you will feel great. Absolutely.
When it gets down to it,